This truth is official. I feel like I just walked out of the Matrix. I'm all alone. No one could understand what I'm really going through. I tried talking to me mum and me chaplain, and all I got was a 100-mile stare. Father God, can you hear me?
When a person first comes in, do you think that they, what do you think their emotional state is once being introduced to this? Like, I'm not going to say what I saw or see, but I'm sure you see some things. And
yeah,
like, what do you think is once a person say, hey, you know who you are, what do you think is the most common emotions that comes up in an individual?
Oh, it's many different ones that you can go through. But one of them,
give me top three.
Yeah, one of them is anger.
Okay.
From the perspective of you've been lied to.
Okay.
And why haven't I known this? And why do I have to be in this state? And why couldn't have someone show me this at an earlier time so I didn't have to be here?
Okay, so it's a resentment in that regards too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
To anyone and the next one I would say, the trusting state, because now you don't trust who is being honest with you. Okay. Because now you believe every organization, whether it be whatever religion or whatever religion denomination that you were a part, they all lied to you. So now it was hard to kind of trust people. And another one, which I think most of us get excited about, is the joy of actually being someone worth of value. Because you've been beat up so much in society, you've always been told you're the lowest, or you've been treated as you're the lowest, meaning if you speak something, no one believes you. You can provide 10,000 sources to something, and you'll still get discredited by some word who provides no sources. So your word is worthless in the sight of many. So now when you receive that, you're excited that you're actually someone. So now you actually have a goal to actually strive towards and to actually walk in that. So yeah, I believe those are just a few of the emotions that you kind of experience in the beginning of it, when you at your first awakening, once you're getting up out of that bed and the sun is hitting your eyes, and now you're like, oh man, it's another day. Now I can walk forward and walk to a goal, to something that I actually strive for, to actually be someone and show myself worthy of representing who I'm supposed to represent, which is Yahuwah, in a righteous manner.
You know, listening to you causes, it recalls or stirs up emotions within myself, thinking about that. And I remember being hit with a series of emotions, and even I feel like I'm about to start re-experiencing them, and my eyes are welling up. And I'll never forget that day that, I was inside of a coffee shop, and there was a brother, or Ak, that I knew, and he was a painter. Shout out to Patrick, who's out in what's the park? What's the one I'm thinking of on Crenshaw?
Lamert.
Yeah. So Pat had asked me a question. He walked up to me one day, and I'm inside of this coffee shop, and he says to me, hey brother, how you doing? He's not in the walk, but he's a very conscious brother. He's not. He belonged to no particular faith. He believed in, loving your neighbor as you love yourself, doing unto others.
A law unto himself.
A law unto himself, exactly. So
Yeah.
he walked in that and was very peaceful, and was just on point as an individual. So, I love that brother. And I remember him walking up to me one day, and I'm inside this coffee shop, and I am, studying and reading my scriptures and what have not, trying to learn. And during this time, I'm kind of in this space where I'm learning how to debate.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to defend what it is that I believe, and I'm hearing people come and drawing different conclusions and sticking with the general norms of what we were raised in as far as the religion that we were, and then I'm like, no, but that's not actually true. That's something we were given from, and I'll say it as they said inside of the movie, the people from Wakanda, so to speak, and that's the colonizers, perspective. That's the colonizers gave us that viewpoint or that perspective on how to think and understand this. But let's take the Hebrew perspective. Let's look at that. Let's go with that. And so I was very zealous and gung-ho about trying to promote that perspective and that understanding, because like, you're saying, I was like, we were all lied to. I was very hurt.
Yeah.
And I was like, how could this happen? And who prevented us from knowing who we were? And just, I didn't feel an anger for the colonizers per se immediately. I felt more of why did my parents not find this out? Or why did they know this? Or why did these pastors and and church leaders not tell us this truth? Didn't they go to these seminary schools?
Cemetery schools.
Yeah, cemetery schools, yeah. They're killing them softly, boy. But didn't they go to these seminary schools in order to learn these things, so that we could come to a greater knowledge of how to work out our own salvation? Because like what I'm reading and what we're doing are not matching. And I'm like, I'm a dead man, because I'm not doing what the one who's saving me is saying to do. And I'm leaning on misinterpretations of Shaul or Paul's letters. And I'm like, I didn't understand how much of a misinterpretation it was. And some of it was, innocent, but a lot of it was like literal.
Oh, sure.
Like intentional. And that was crazy. But, I digress back to the thing that I was going to say. But the brother came to me and he said, hey, Shaul, I've been watching you, brother. And I'm going like, huh? There wasn't any kind of like funny way, but he was like, hey, brother, I've been watching you, and I've been noticing, what's going on in the world, and I've been watching how you're moving and everything. And I just wanted to ask you a question. He was like, what gives you your peace? And later on, I learned, a word, mashlomcha.
Yeah.
And I learned that, from speaking and reading. אני מדבר עברית, so I'm like, I speak Hebrew, קצת. But it's like learning to speak Hebrew and revisiting what he said. What gives you your peace? And I was like, dang, that's literally the translation of mashlomcha. What is your peace? And I'm going like, so I said to him, and it was crazy. And how they say having a word in due season? It was like right there. And I was thinking, and it was funny. I felt this energy rise in me, but a joy, a warm feeling coming into me. And I said, brother, for the first time, I know who I am. I know where I am going, and I know how to get there. And I said, I never had that in my entire life. I never knew who I was. And how to get there, and knowing what to do to get to that space and place. And I said, for that gives me peace. I'm okay with the world. I don't need it. Stopped me from searching for intangibles, like being, being a prisoner to money, being a servant to mammon or to money. It prevented me. I'm like, knowing Tor, you start seeing stuff like, no, you are a trillionaire or a billionaire. I would say more like we're more trillionaires, because all the money belongs to us already. There's nothing we actually will have to desire or want. There's nothing that any nation who seeks peace or shalom from the Most High is not going to do in order to make that happen, because once they see what happens in the world, how the world turns out, and how they can go ahead and come up raising the white flag, saying like, we give up, hey, whatever you want, here's a peace offering, we're going to give you these people back, and we're going to send you some money too along the way. We're going to do it every year and monthly and whatever it takes for us to go ahead and come into your good favor, or it's commonly called good graces. We're going to do whatever it takes, just don't kill us for all the deadly things we've done to you and the rest of the entire world.